She woke up in a new life, but the truth was unbelievable.
My name is Aria Mitchell, and when I was 17, my life changed in the most painful way possible. Growing up in the Mitchell household was like living in a museum, everything had to be perfect. My parents, Jonathan and Caroline Mitchell, were high-profile attorneys who cared more about appearances than emotions. My older brother, Damien, was their golden child, groomed to carry the family name. And me. I was the odd one out, quiet, creative, and drawn to things they deemed useless. I had a passion for music. Writing songs, composing melodies, feeling something deeper than the cold silence that filled our house. My parents never understood it. They saw music as a distraction, a threat to the image they worked so hard to preserve. When I told them I wanted to pursue music instead of law school, their reaction wasn't disappointment, it was rage. I still remember that night. The shouting, the insults, the way my father looked at me like I was a stranger. And then the final blow, they told me to leave. That if I chose music, I was no longer their daughter. I left with nothing but my guitar, a backpack of clothes, and a heart full of pain. The first few years were brutal. I stayed in shelters, worked odd jobs, and played music on street corners just to get by. There were nights I went to sleep hungry, days when I questioned everything. But I held on to my dream like it was the only thing keeping me alive, because, in many ways, it was. I started uploading my music online, rough recordings made in tiny apartments with borrowed equipment. Slowly, people started listening, sharing, connecting. My words spoke to those who felt unseen, unheard, just like I once did. At 21, I released my first album independently. It went viral. By 23, I had signed with a major label, performed on global stages, and become a voice for millions. Aria Mitchell, once the girl thrown out by her own family, was now a celebrated artist known for turning pain into power. And then, out of nowhere, I received a letter. It was from my mother. Their law firm had collapsed after a scandal involving Damien. They had lost their status, their wealth, everything. And now, they wanted to reconnect. Not out of love, but desperation. I agreed to meet them, not out of bitterness, but closure. We sat in the same house I was once thrown out of. They were older, quieter, hollow. They apologized, said they were proud of who I had become. But I had already found my peace. I walked away with my head high, not because I wanted revenge, but because I no longer needed their approval. I had created a life on my own terms. And I was more powerful than they could have ever imagined.